Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, July 25th. It is now 6 p.m. and I'd like to call the Administration and Finance Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Brenham,
Here.
McBride, Livingston,
Here.
Weaver, Mackey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from June 27th, 2023. Do we have any additions, deletions, any changes?
Adoption, Madam Chair. Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you call the vote, please?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda. Mr. Administrator, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No requested changes, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Adoption. Second.
A motion and a second.
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you scroll up? Make sure. Keep going. Thank you. So first item is item 4A. There you go. Department of Public Works, Jim Hamilton Owens Airport, confidential approval of work authorization and associated grants. Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it's in page 8 of the packet under strategic and general discussion. It says this request is to conditionally approve an essential work authorization based on anticipated receipt this summer of 2 grants to provide 95% of this project's funding. The remaining 5% will be paid from the airport fiscal year 24 operating budget. A copy of the work order or work authorization is contained in attachment 1. These actions will ensure the project can commence as soon as the grants are received, which may occur prior to the August 29th special called council meeting. Similar conditional approvals by county council have been issued for airport projects previously. The condition of the taxi lane pavement at Jim Hamilton Owens Airport is poor. Wide and deep cracks in this pavement generate foreign objects debris, which can be a safety hazard to people and aircraft. Since there are 10 taxi lanes at the airport, future construction may be necessary in phases over multiple grant cycles. The design work being performed in this work authorization will be organized with this flexibility in mind. And then when you go back up to staff's recommendation, that is why the staff is recommending approval of the award of work authorization number 4 with the Michael Baker International NBI for the design and bidding of the taxi lanes rehabilitation project at Jim Hamilton L.B. Owens Airport. And again, we understand that if we don't receive the anticipated grant funds, that this project will not proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Do we have any comments, discussion from committee? Mr. Livingston, you recognized.
Mr. Brown, is this sole source, was it bidded, or this, for some reason, Baker and Michael Baker was the only one who could do it, or?
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. If you don't mind, Madam Chair, we can recognize Mr. Chris Eversman, who serves as the General Manager of the operations
Yes.
at Jim Owens.
Eversman, you're recognized. Hold just 1 minute, please, Mr. Everson. We want to get your mic correct. Hold on just 1 minute.
Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, Chris Eversman, Airport General Manager. Would you repeat the question, Madam Chairman?
Well, not the sole source.
Yes, sir. If you look on the section motion of origin, every 3 to 5 years, sir, we go out, solicit professional engineering firms to provide planning and engineering services. And we have an indefinite delivery contract in place. And that was approved by County Council back in May of 2022. And so this is a work authorization that is covered by that contract that has been approved by County Council.
Thank you. Do you have any other comments or questions?
Adoption,
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. A motion for approval?
Second.
and a second. Any discussion?
Could I just ask?
You recognize, Mr. Brenham?
Thank you. Is the motion already written out, or can we have it articulated?
It's adopt the staff recommendation, as stated on page
Evan?
7.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second for staff recommendation that is listed on page 7 of the agenda. Hearing no other discussion, Madam Clerk, would you call for the vote?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next item is 4B, Department of Public Works Engineering Pavement Management System. Administrator Brown?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. If you turn to page 20 of the agenda packet, if you have it there with you, under strategic and general discussion, Public Works currently maintains approximately 640 miles of paved roads. Staff currently tracks the county's network and projects through spreadsheets and GIS. To improve efficiency during the decision-making process, staff finds an automated system necessary to manage this inventory. Roadway Management Technology, or RMT, has a product line to capture data daily, store and update road conditions, project deterioration, and assist with fund allocation. This technology is proprietary and includes all hardware, software, and support services to assist the county in managing its inventory of roads. And if you go back up to page 19, that is why the Engineering Division of the Department of Public Works requests approval for pavement management services from Roadway Management Technology. The associated cost in the packet is listed as $150,000, which includes all startup costs, hardware, software, importing roadway condition data, and support services from the vendor for 1 year. There's an annual subscription cost of $80,000, which is required to continue using the service. Also, you see in the packet that the information has been reviewed by the appropriate departments. And again, this item is recommended for approval for the purposes listed here in this particular agenda item. So, Madam Chair, at this time, we'll take any additional questions that you may have, but the staff's request is for approval of this technology item.
Thank you. Councilman Weaver, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Brown, so a couple questions. Where is the $150,000 coming from? General funds or
So the answer to your question is
Public Works budget?
Public Works budget, which could be included as the answer to your larger question is yes, that's part of a general fund, but it's specific to budgeted that's
Okay.
already been approved.
So what led to us wanting this? Like what's the negative of what we're doing now?
Yeah, so we're literally tracking this information using Excel sheets, and GIS. And so what you have is you have basically a process by which, you have an individual keeping that data versus having a system where that data is kept and stored and secured in a way that's very usable. Rather than maybe trying to take an Excel sheet and then maybe share it with you as a member of council to show you the road conditions, the number of miles, the deterioration. You're manually doing all that rather than having technology that allows you to capture all that information and store it and provide it in a more concise way than me having staff plug something into an Excel sheet. So it is an efficiency and ideally, it's going to help us track better long-term and reduce errors that transfer when people take over spreadsheets from if a person leaves and doesn't stay,
right.
Versus having a system where we know the information is stored.
Okay. Last question. Do we know any other counties that are using this? Has anyone had success with it? Other counties that we know? Or?
Sure. I'll ask the staff to come forward and address that particular question as it relates to this. I will tell you just from my prior experience, yes, you want to have some sort of system where you are able to track, road integrity over a period of time, separate and apart from just kind of, inputting it on something like an Excel or a Word document. But do we have County Engineer Sharani Fuller will address the body, Madam Chair, if you will recognize her.
You recognize Ms. Fuller.
Thank you. Good evening. Sharani Fuller, County Engineer. We have not actually met with anyone in South Carolina using this software.
So the system now is just we keep everything on an Excel spreadsheet. The last time it was paved, how many cars per day or something like that. Okay.
That's correct. And the spreadsheet is only updated when a new pavement management study is done, which is every 6 years. So this allows us to have constant data that we're collecting, so we always know exactly what the condition of every road is.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Councilman Branham, you recognize.
Ms. Fuller, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
So how did we come to awareness of this system and software?
They actually reached out to us. So we, over the first 6 months of the year, were reaching out to vendors to set up demos to view different pavement management systems. We even reached out to all of our local counties and municipalities to see what they were using too. This vendor was just one who happened during that time frame to reach out to us, and so they came and did a demo for us.
Follow up?
Yes, sure.
So what were our neighboring municipalities or governments using? Were they using any software or systems?
Some of them are and some of them are not. One of them are partners in Lexington County. They have actually just gotten it approved in their budget to get a pavement management system. So they're doing the same thing we were, using spreadsheets. We did reach out to City of Columbia. They're using something that is a little bit of a step up from what we're doing, but requires a lot of manual input.
Which is, of course, like fleshing out the value add here for the expenditure, and it's good that it's all budgeted for. It sounds like there will also be analytics there that will help us predict future needs and plan for those. Is that right?
That's correct. There is hardware and software. So the software does the projections for deterioration. It also, you can input values. So we can input the districts and the allocation of funds per district. And using that pavement condition, so it knows what the pavement condition of the road is, it can make predictions and give you options for the type of treatment you should do on each road.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Fuller.
You're welcome.
That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I had a question just related to the cost and the license. I see we have year one, the initial investment, and then year two, it's about cut in half. And so I guess going forward, is this a regular expense that you expect to have, and do you expect increases in that?
We do have the option to continue. The reason for the half is because we knew in the first year, no matter what we used, there would be a large investment to get all of our manual data into any system. So the following year, you're just doing the upkeep of it. And so there is an option to continue moving forward at the price of year two.
And I guess as far as training goes, because it looks like it'll be ready end of September. And so at that point, is there additional training period, or pretty much are we ready to go, and, you know, any of us can just come to you and get a report per district about our current roads?
So there would be a bit of a curve there because we'll need to install all the hardware on the vehicles and then actually start riding the roads. So as we're riding the roads, we're collecting that data. So it would take some period of time to get data on every road, but then after we have it, it's continuous.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, that's great, Mr. Livingston. Anyone else? All right, well, I'll entertain a motion for 4B.
Madam Chair?
We have a
Item
motion for
4B.
approval of staff recommendations for 4B.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? Take the vote.
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
No.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next item is item 4C, Community Planning and Development Planning Services, Town of Blythewood Intergovernmental Agreement. Administrator Brown, you recognize?
Madam Chair, staff, along with the staff at Blythewood, are recommending that this item be deferred to a future date. There's no set date at this point. We know that there are some new developments associated with Scout Motors coming in, and we just want to make sure that going forward, all those things are appropriately considered. So at this time, we're asking to defer this item. And again, unfortunately, I don't have a date, so I'm not sure I know Attorney Wright, I think, says we always need a date. Maybe right now we could defer this item until the September A&F committee meeting to see at that time if there's any updated information from a neighboring jurisdiction.
Thank you. At this time, we have Administrator Brown recommending a deferral to our September 20th, sorry, I don't know if it's the 20th, our September A&F meeting. That requires an action from, thank you. I have a motion from Mr. Livingston
Second.
and a second from Councilwoman Branham. Any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a motion from, I believe, Councilwoman Terratio. I move the county council authorize the county administrator to enter into negotiations with Divine Aruo Development or its assignee regarding the potential sale of the property located at 1430 Colonial Life Boulevard, also known as the Old Haverty's property. This item came before a full council during a motion period, and the chair sent it to A&F for consideration. This item also requires us to go into executive session to receive additional information. Administrator Brown, do you have anything you'd like to say beforehand?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, you looking for a motion to
I
go
am.
into
If you guys
executive
would like to
session?
go into executive session, yes, to
So
discuss
moved.
it. I have a motion for executive session and a second. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston, Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We are now in executive session. Madam Clerk, would you
Branham?
take the vote?
Brenham. Livingston. Weaver.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We are out of executive session. No action was taken. We received information related to item 4D. Next is item 5, items for information, the Animal Service Animal Care Ordinance revisions. Administrator Brown?
Madam Chair, I'll just ask if you will recognize Assistant County Administrator Eric Jensen, who is office responsibilities include animal services.
ACA Jensen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate that. Very briefly, it's been many years since the county's animal control ordinance has been updated substantially. There's been minor amendments here and there, but it's about time that
And I guess a little bit more clarification, as you mentioned, we've all gotten these emails. Is the emails that we received in this, are they the same thing? Because I know a lot of our animal issues or animal care issues have been tied to the city of Columbia. And so I want to make sure, is this the same situation or is this something different?
Yes, Madam Chair. So yes, we are going to be holistically looking at everything from our practices internally all the way through the code. You really can't update the code without looking at how you operate. The two go hand in hand. And yes, we partner currently with the City of Columbia. They operate the shelter. We contract with them. We work with them on a daily basis. And so I've already reached out to them. I personally went to the shelter and spoke with the director, Victoria, last week and extended an invitation to participate.
Mr. Livingston, you're
Madam
recognized.
Chair, that's my concern. See, you got the schedule on September 24, but a lot of the issues got to be dealt with before then. What about those current issues that are going on now? We gonna wait till September 24 to deal with them?
Oh, sorry. Madam Chair, may I respond?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Everything will not be put on hold while this is going forward. Items that are of immediate concern will be dealt with immediately, but the larger question of the code and it will take time because we have to engage stakeholders. We can't just unilaterally make decisions. We have to bring the community in to answer these bigger questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing no other question, Administrator Brown, is there anything else tied to that item 5?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item 6, adjournment.
Well, Madam Chair, second.
Have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Brenham.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.